Have faith in the justice system. Although there's a lot of families now splattered right around the city of Liverpool who believe justice how can I put it? Because it's a touchy subject when you've got 20 families where their sons are being shot dead, daughter being shot dead, no one's ever been brought to justice for it. It's horrible, isn't it? People criticise me for having this point of view. People hate on me, or you used to do this. Blah, 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 blah. I'm the perfect person to be highlighting and raising awareness on this. This is the level of crime I was at. I weren't no who was running around for crazy organised crime groups. I weren't a Marvin Herbie. That's one level of crime. This level of crime that we're speaking about now, this was my level on the streets, the violent stuff. Them up there just use and abuse all us. That's the way it used to be, and that's the way it is now. Nothing's changed. You get in the game, gunmen, every couple of years. You hear about them, they become notorious. They fly around in all the high-powered cars. They're doing what they can. They're getting all the pull, making as much money what they can on the back of what they're doing. And then they get nicked, flight off. So look, let me put it this way to you. If the alleged gunman would have got his victim without his victim going through that front door, if it would have went as planned, he would have took him out on the street, shot him dead on the street, probably wounded his mate that went on his toes, and got away, and there would have been no big fuss. He would have just been like any other criminal on the streets. The police would have turned up. We understand this. Let's start a murder investigation, but let's not put 100% effort into it. You know, it is what it is. We've already got 22, 23, let's just say 25 unsolved murders with all known criminals, and we're not really asked about there because of the wall of silence. Let's not waste what we've got on this because we know we're going to hit a wall of silence. Let's just go through the protocol. Let's just go through the process. But, you know, there's other things to concentrate on. No one would have talked about him. No one would have said about him. He would have just went into the mist, gone, put that body on his bedpost, added to his body count. We all know he's got a body count. So he adds that body to his body count. He's gone. A year down the line, he's out again, working. Bang, someone else gets it. What does that do for the people he works for? Just brings pure revenue in. The city's shook at that group because of the work this kid's doing. The city's shook at that group. So all the grafters around the city are now getting drugs and getting whatever they need off this group because my man's got a body count. Some people won't like what I'm saying, but that's how it is. That's reality for you. But on this, he hasn't got the same benefits of everyone keeping their mouth shut. He hasn't got the same notorious sort of vibration coming from it. You know, this isn't a good job, kid. This isn't a good job, kid. There's your dough. This is, whoa, kid, bang, I'm backing off you, you're roast or not. Don't worry. And that's most of his circle. You will have only had the likes of Shorty, who's on his toes, probably still in Morocco, languishing there, growing his weed, sending him dough over through some bird or a couple of birds. Normally Shorty's ma, if she's still breathing. And this is just reality, you know. This is experience, this is my experience, this is my knowledge. I'm not talking about individuals I haven't met. First time I met Shorty was in prison. And I met him alongside a kid from Garston called Ronnie Scott, old-time gangster, John Smith's partner, Colin Smith's brother. That's the first time I met that Shorty. And he is what he is, just a fat little scumbag. He was in prison, he is out here. us law-abiding citizens. I'm trying to get into the heads of used kids, used youth, that believe in that picking up your firearm and dealing drugs within your community, which is destroying your own people, is the way forward in life. Look at the damage that the generations above you have done. How old are you? 15? Are you seeing them kids sat outside your shop with no legs wanting your money so they can go and buy a rock? That's what the generations above have done to you. And where are they all? Where are they all? Where's the majority of these big notorious gangsters that you all look up to for a bit? Where are they all? Doesn't matter who they are. Where are they? Dead or lifed off. You don't get a little slap on the wrist these days. I was lucky. My offence, what I was convicted for and placed in custody for in 2004, these days, you're getting a 30 plus recommendation. If you're willing to run around for your elder or your kid that's throwing you a little few £100 or £1,000 or something, if you're willing to jeopardise double figures of your life, you're daft. You're not as clever as you can think. And moving around with these bullies and these rats that manipulate you, use you, and you're the butt of the jokes every week, you need to get out of them circles, trust me. The criminal fraternity will be trying to make light excuses. Oh, well, he didn't intentionally do it. Shut up. You're going through a front door, you're hearing people scream, especially a child, you know to stop. You don't shoot blind like an immature, uncomposed rat. It just shows as real, you know. It shows as real, how can I put it? It shows his real capacity. Basically, it shows that he's shit at what he's done and what he does. Proclaimed himself to be this gunman. He's not a gunman. He's an erratic rat. That's what he is. Real gunmen don't lose the composure. You know, real gunmen don't lose the composure when it's ready, when it's time to go. You don't lose your composure. You're calm, you're cool, you're collective. You're not running around like a madman. But there you go. Not for us. Obviously for the city of Liverpool. You know, we can't let another child be killed on the streets of Liverpool and we forget about it in a month or two. It can't happen. You know, you got Ava, you got Reese, you've got all these young children just being killed by gangs and organised crime groups upon your communities. And we just turn a blind eye after every so often, become accustomed to it. The tolerance to their activities becomes a little bit more tolerant. You're not looking at them as shame no more because they've grown up on your estate and you're looking at them as if they're just the kids from down the road. They're not. The kids that are being led down the road by adults. And it doesn't matter how they're being led now. There's loads of different ways that can absolutely disrupt a kid's focus upon himself, rob his identity, rob his culture, rob everything about him. And he doesn't realise until you get double figures. Firearms in this country, you need double figures for them. If you really want to start deterring gun crime, you need double figures for possession of illegal firearms. Fives, eights, you need a 15, and you're doing at least a 10. Trust me, as I said the other night, people would throw their guns away. People that are just minding guns will start telling the people that they're minding for, I'm not risking a decade in prison for minding that for 3 or 4 ton a week. Will they do it? Probably not. Why? Because it'll reduce the prison numbers. It'll reduce the prison numbers, mate. And that's the last thing we want in this world of privatisation. Trust me, the private sector is probably the biggest threat to the world. But how can you stop guns? You know, while we're all caught up on Choose a Life, Not a Knife UK, thinking about knives, thinking about the damage that knives do, how accessible they are, how easy they are for the youth to get their hands on, how you can order them across the internet and get all this magic to do with offensive weapons, whether it's knuckle dusters with blades attached, whether it's dusters with lecky shocks attached. You know, there's all sorts of weapons that can damage you, but I don't really hear people speaking about firearms. The only time we hear about possession of firearms is when there's something happened with them. We don't really hear any groups, preventative groups, raising awareness about it. I'm always speaking about them. I've been speaking about them since my release, and I've been screaming to you in this way. The majority of the kids that feel a need to possess a firearm at the age of 14, 15, 16, by the time they are 17, 18, 19, they have got the urge to possess a firearm, or at least look at one, hold one, or shoot one. By the time they're 21, if they're still in them criminal fraternities, the majority of them will get access to them kind of weapons. So we're all sitting here complaining about how easy knives are to go left, right and centre. I can remember firearms being used in the year 2000 in our clubs. You know, so it is what it is. You want to start looking forward. You want to start understanding what's coming. And when you've got people like Thomas Cashman, who's been putting people in bed for over a decade, you've got to understand what the culture's like in Liverpool right now. Drill music. The drill music there is to influence it, is to have kids thinking about that move, going down that path of chatting part of this brotherhood culture. But the bottom line, the majority of the murders that are unsolved upon the city of Liverpool right now, the majority of them are to do with organised crime groups. And it doesn't matter whether they're organised crime groups or disorganised crime groups. They're still killing people and they're getting away with it. And the longer they get away with it, the longer they evade justice, the more they're going to kill. And the more people, the more youth, the more young gangbangers, the more young drug dealers, the ones with the money will encourage young men to shoot this. Don't worry, you won't get caught. And they're not wrong, are they? Are they wrong? If you were a gunman in the city of Liverpool, you'd be half confident of getting away with a murder. Why? Because look how many is unsolved. Especially if you're criminals. You know, if you're part of that criminal fraternity, there's that rule, you don't go to the police. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's how tight the laws are in the criminal fraternity, usually. You know, you've only got to look at